Welcome back to Red Business in Focus with thanks to Cork's local enterprise offices, where we're supporting businesses right around the county. And this week we've got Keohane of Snap4meals.ie. It is a charity loyalty app that charges a 25-cent fee per visit per business and donates 80% of it to the Meals on Wheels network. Supporters collect stamps while spending in businesses that turn into donations for their chosen local Meals on Wheels group. Ben is here to tell us all about it. Ben, lovely to meet you.
Thanks for having me. God, I could do with you on my pitch deck.
Yeah, it's very easy.
I think you explained it all quite well.
It's written down there for me. It makes it very easy for me. But what I will do is I'll ask you, that's the top line version. In 30 seconds, tell us what you do.
Yeah, so Snap4 is a payments and technology platform. We're actually a charity loyalty app, and we're launching an app called Snap4meals, where our users download our app, they choose their local Meals on Wheels group, and every time they collect a stamp, they can visit any amount of local businesses. And every time they collect a stamp, we collect a donation from that business directly for the Meals on Wheels group that they've chosen. So we're launching nationwide. We've just done a deal with 263 Meals on Wheels groups across the country. We have a lovely geographically even spread. We're hitting nearly every town and village in the country in one go. We expect to have thousands of businesses using it, and we're expecting to have thousands of users. We're delighted to work with the Meals on Wheels group because they're a great organisation and you couldn't get more local than them.
Who is a user? Define a user for me.
Anybody. It could be anyone who's already visiting a local business. So businesses can use this as a loyalty system. They can, they're obviously going to tell their customers that we've signed up to this. Please use it so they can connect better with their customers. It could be anyone, anywhere who's already spending in local businesses, or somebody who's visiting from Dublin, coming down to Cork City. But we're hoping to have geographical businesses everywhere. So any type of user is somebody who downloads the app. And we also have even an ability where somebody who doesn't want to download the app, somebody who's maybe of an older generation, they can literally collect stamps as well by just mentioning their name.
How do businesses benefit from this? Because ultimately, yes,
increased footfall. Very, very free very, very cheap advertising, and paying for advertising that works. From a radio background, you can understand that, but even digital media, algorithms, Facebook, the amount of money you can spend in advertising, what you actually get is very little. What we're telling businesses, you're paying a fee every time we send you a customer, but you're paying us after the customers come. You're actually paying for advertising that actually works. And we're only billing you after it has worked. So businesses will look at this as a goodwill factor as well. Look, we've spoken to hundreds of local businesses. Every time there's a raffle, every time there's something going on with the sports club or the school, they're the first people being approached. Businesses are looking for a very clean way of doing this. We're also talking to local corporate sponsors. So a corporate sponsor would love to give money, and love to know exactly where it's going, and love to know that it's actually being put to good. They can come in and they can sponsor events.
My concern as a business owner could potentially be, what happens if everybody does it? What happens if everybody snaps it and I end up facing a massive bill at the end? Much and all as I love the Meals on Wheels, I don't want to pay for it for a full year perhaps.
Look, yes, you could say they're cannibalising their own business customers that are coming in. There's always going to be a goodwill factor around this. They should be impressing their customers by saying they've joined up with us. But if you look at that, that's the exact same way of putting an ad in the local newspaper. Right? It's the exact same thing. It is advertising, but it's a goodwill gesture. What we're saying is we're not going to charge you a massive advertising bill and keep it ourselves. We're giving 80% of it back to the local community. So there's a circular effect going on there.
And circular economy is very important, as we all know. But when your background is in finance, effectively, did you bring in the first prepaid MasterCards to Ireland?
Yeah.
So how did you move from that to this?
So I got involved in technology with that, did a lot of projects with MasterCard. I've been building technology for other startups. I've been involved with startups for years. I looked at launching a social media platform. I saw the downfalls of that. And then I just said, what can I put my experience to? I love the idea of loyalty. I love the idea of helping neighbourhoods better connect. I love the idea of talking to a business owner who might have 15 or 20,000 followers on his Facebook page, but every time he posts, he gets 20 or 30 likes. He knows it's not working. He'd love to be able to have an ability to be able to reach out. So let alone a real loyalty program, we're also going to become an advertising platform. We're going to be an advertising platform.
You've been working with the local enterprise office. It kind of fits the community model really, really well. So how have they been supporting you?
I've been with the local enterprise board for the last 2 years, or the local enterprise office, especially with Joe Burke, for the last 2 years. He could pull his hair out listening to some of my stories because I've changed. So when we build something, we find, we can do it a little bit better. So for the last year and a half, we've done very little apart from build technology. That's what we've been doing. If you're a technology company, you got to own your own tech. So we've spent a lot of money in that. And Joe has been instrumental in supporting us both from a mentoring perspective, giving us contacts in the tech space, but also from funding. So at the moment, we've got a priming grant from Local Enterprise Board to support this, and we're going to be applying for a new grant quite soon.
That level of confidence coming from the support is there, the mentoring, knowing that there are grants that you can apply for, even the idea of Joe tearing his hair out when you change your plan, all of that presumably helps you develop, evolve and become better at what you're doing.
Look, I mean, Joe Burke has been great and the team internally have been great. You can go in, you can still bounce ideas, but keeping the core business on track, right? So I would say, look, this is going to delay us 3 months, but it's going to improve us massively. You know, the biggest thing we had with Stripe, when Stripe got involved, was Stripe said, look, you need to streamline this. How are you going to build the merchants and also pay the local Meals on Wheels group? So we built a way with Stripe specifically to automate that process. So when a merchant does pay, if he's paying €100 or €400 and we've sent him, say, 100 customers, right? When that payment's been made, it could be split between 7 or 8 different Meals on Wheels groups, all completely automated. So we spent a lot of time on that, and that has saved us time.
Finally, Ben, what does it mean for the Meals on Wheels groups when they're getting this unsolicited check through the door?
If we can get 50,000 users using it and collecting 10 stamps a month, it's 1.2 million a year. You know, directly into the local groups. So we did a deal with the Irish Rural Link, which is a semi-state body, and they're super. They're over the umbrella group for the Meals on Wheels directory. So I'm dealing with Tracy Noonan. She's head of the Meals on Wheels network for the whole of Ireland. She's introduced us. We've had weekly chats with 30 or 40 focus groups. They're super. They've been massively underfunded. They've been around for a very, very long time. And we feel, talking to the Irish Rural Link and the head of the Meals on Wheels network, we actually have a great opportunity to help revolutionise them a little bit, digitalise them. If there's any charity out there that could move further in the next 5 to 10 years, this is it. With an ageing population, ageing amount of volunteers, a complete lack of funding, it's only going to get bigger and it's only going to be needed more.
What's the website if people want to look you up?
Snap4meals.ie.
Snap4meals.ie. Ben, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for coming in.
Jonathan, super. Thanks.
That's it from this episode of Red Business in Focus. Make sure you join us next week. We're going to have a very tasty episode. I'm glad food is making an appearance. We've got Catherine Good of the Good Dairy Company. This is an episode I'm personally looking forward to for very obvious reasons. They're a dairy farm business who've created a range of delicious homemade creamy ice cream for the conscious consumer who wants everyday access to high quality artisan food where you can trace where it came from. She better bring some in with her. That's next week. Red Business in Focus with thanks to Cork's local enterprise offices.